right, guys, so we're on the float for ISDA, the Italian Sons and Daughters of America. We are going to give you a inside look at all those shenanigans, all the outfits, all the fashion of the Columbus Day Parade in New York City. I am so excited, John.
I can't wait. The float is taking off. Music's ready to go. Come on, Pat, let's get on.
Pat, we're going to leave without you.
Come on, come on.
We
Don't
will
rip your
leave
pants.
without you.
Ah, Columbus Day. There are few days on the calendar that bring out Italian-American pride quite like this one. After all, what could be better than an entire day devoted to celebrating the accomplishments of 25 million Americans lucky enough to share Italian roots? In recent years, a holiday that was celebrated for centuries without controversy has become a hot-button issue that hits at the heart of Italian identity in America. As some communities opt to re-examine the legacy of the holiday's namesake navigator, Italian Americans across the nation find themselves fighting to defend a figure clouded in historical mystery, and a holiday that is for many more about a chance to join thousands of other Italian Americans lining the streets of America's cities to sing, laugh, and proudly wave the two flags we all hold dear. This is Columbus Day. Who is Christopher Columbus? To some, he's the heroic Genoese explorer and pioneer whose voyages across the Atlantic brought together two continents and eventually formed the Americas as we know them today. To others, he was a tyrant whose ambitions brought disease and suffering to America's native peoples. The truth is, there's only so much we can really know about a man and the world he lived in over 500 years ago. And for the purposes of this episode, that's okay. Because rather than debate the man himself, we're trying to answer a different question. Just how did Columbus Day, a celebration first observed in 1792, come to belong to a community that didn't really arrive here in significant numbers until over a century later? Let's go back to 1792. The blood has barely dried on the battlefields of the American Revolution, and anti-British sentiment still runs high. The new nation seeks heroes free from the stain of British imperialism. So, the Society of St. Tammany, also known as the Columbian Order, organized the first celebration of Columbus Day on the 300th anniversary of his arrival in the Americas. For the order, both Columbus and Tammany, a Native American chief known for helping to foster amicable relations between natives and British settlers, represented America's separateness from European history. Over the next century, the celebration of Columbus Day began to take root amongst a different set of Americans. America, an ever-growing symbol of hope and freedom, had become a magnet for those seeking opportunities for a better life, including our Italian forebears. But this optimism was not shared by all, and the immigration boom of the 19th and early 20th century brought with it an ugly strain of anti-immigrant, anti-Catholic, and ultimately, anti-Italian sentiment. Many of these struggling immigrants found solace in the image of Christopher Columbus, a beloved American hero who shared their Italian descent. For many, seeing one of their own revered in a country that seemed to reject them fostered an all too infrequent feeling of pride and acceptance. Sadly, the fear of these newly arrived Italians came to a tragic climax on March 14, 1891, in New Orleans, Louisiana, when 11 Sicilians, falsely accused of murder, were summarily hanged in the largest mass lynching in American history. Shock and devastation swept over Italians across the nation. In reaction to the tragedy, the Italian-American community of New York City scraped together enough money and private donations to build the monument that stands in Columbus Circle to this day. It was, and still is, considered by many to be a testament to love of country from a community of immigrants desperately struggling to find acceptance in their new home. The following year, on the 400th anniversary of Columbus's maiden voyage, President Benjamin Harrison issued a proclamation officially urging Americans to observe Columbus Day, a decision, many believe, that was made to ease tensions between Italy and the United States. The observance that year lasted a full week and was a sign for many of better days to come. Throughout the 20th century, Italian Americans slowly became an accepted part of the American social fabric. In 1937, President Franklin Roosevelt officially proclaimed Columbus Day a federal holiday. And just a few years later, a dedicated group of Italian Americans, led by entrepreneur Generoso Pope, founded the Columbus Citizens Foundation, an organization created to engage in and support charitable causes, and to celebrate the accomplishments of the millions of men and women of Italian ancestry that called the United States home. That proud organization continues to organize a grand celebration right here in New York City each year. We call it the Columbus Day Parade. In recent decades, as new historical sources are unearthed and the legacy of Christopher Columbus is called into question, many in our community have found themselves defending a holiday that they, like its detractors, hardly understand. For me, as we make our way through the throngs of cheering paisani, I'm not thinking about Columbus or his impact on the world. I'm thinking of the bricklayers, the seamstresses, the fruit and vegetable vendors, of the unsung men and women from Italy and all nations who continue to follow Columbus's example, betting on themselves and sailing off into an unknown world, and whose toil and courage have laid the physical and social foundations at the heart of our great American experiment.
This is a great day for everyone, but especially for Italian Americans. Celebrating our heritage, our culture, where we come from. It's just a delight.
We found the leading guys like you.
Well, we need your generation to take over.
Let's face it, history is complicated, and the constant uncovering of new information forces us to continually re-examine our past. But, as the current stewards of this over 200-year-old tradition, we have a responsibility to understand why this day meant so much to those who came before us, and how best to pass it on to generations to come. After all, Columbus's voyages paved the way for our own, and reassured us in times of doubt. And when I look around at the jubilant faces surrounding me on this day, I can't help but think that while we may not settle the debate here, our efforts will make it a better informed and more civilized one for all who continue to peer off to the American horizon and see a land of opportunity, a land of hope.
All right, Ro, another adventure in Italian America in the books. What'd you think?
You know, I gotta say, I think this was one of the best Columbus Day parades I've ever been a part of. I mean, the day was beautiful. The people were passionate. They were proud. They were a little angry. Yeah. And I think that really helped them all show up for being Italian American today. And it was just the greatest day to be an Italian American from New York City.
It was. Having this little controversy about Columbus, about Mother Cabrini, I feel like our people are energized. They're proud. This. Yeah, we need to fight. We need to fight. I think that helps. Yeah. I think when we show up, we fight and we stay all the way through.
No, we fight till the end. We're not going away.
And we fight till the end, and we celebrate till the end. And this is still the end of the Columbus Day parade. It's going on and on and on, but I mean, everybody's going home, and we're about to go eat. So, from all of us at the podcast, thanks for being a part of the show. We'll see you next time.
Ciao. We'll see you next time.
Oh, here we go. Crank that up, baby. Come on, let me hear it nice and loud. Are you ready? about the United States of America, right here in New York, New York. You know what it is? Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabonds are shoes. I'm walking to stray. Right